This is a continuation of part 1 of Jordan's blog. So Caden, her firstborn son, his name is spelled Cayden, and 2 years ago, about 2009, so 2 years ago, Kason, the second son, was born in December of 2019, December 27th of 2019, so, we told her and Cody, the baby daddy, who's a druggie that lives in Coburn, Virginia. Now, Cody, her baby daddy, comes from a family that has done drugs most of his life. Him and his older brother has done drugs since they were like teenage kids. And his brain is so fried that he talks like he's a hippie. Like a hippie that has done drugs since he was like, I guess probably about 15 or 16, from like in the 60s, but he has so fried his brain that he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. He's not the sharpest crayon in the box or the most colorful crayon in the box. But we told both of them to not have your child's names rhyme. You know, Caden, Kason, they both rhyme. And we gave them like ideas on names like Carter, you know. I mean, if it was my sister wanted a girl so bad. But she ended up having 2 boys. She was not at all happy about it when Kason came out a boy. Anyway, we suggested that all their names start with C. My sister's name is Chandler, and the baby daddy's name is Cody with a C. Caden's name starts with a C. So all their names start with C. It's kind of like having your kids' names being... having your children's names all begin with A. You know, A or B. So, with their name being the 3rd letter of the alphabet, it's confusing because Kason and Caden, we get both their names so mixed up that I call Kason little brother, because it's easier for me to differentiate both boys. And I don't understand why my sister chose Kason. I mean, I love both my nephews, and I don't have kids myself because I have PCOS and I'm plus size, or as most people would say, I'm obese, which I am. Having PCOS and being big, the perks of having PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome or whatever, I have cysts on my ovaries, and there's like a possibility of me being infertile, sterile, you know, like the gypsies, the Jews, and other people. It's either like the gypsies, Jews, and people who have disabilities getting sterilized in the Holocaust, or in institutions, like mental institutions. But I didn't go to a doctor I was not forced to be sterilized. And I know that sounds bad on my part, and that's a terrible comparison, but like if I tried to get pregnant, I could possibly miscarry the child that I'm having. And there's also the possibility of me being infertile or sterile, which is the same thing. So I'm basically sterile through PCOS, polycystic ovarian uh, syndrome. And I love Caden and Kason like they're my own sons. Um, for me, I'm kind of conflicted if I really want kids or just not have them, because with Caden and Kason, they're very rambunctious boys, and since they live on a mountain in Coburn, um, our father was a drunk, and that he kept us at home most of the time, other than school uh, and sports. My sister and I did t-ball, baseball, and softball, and well, for me, I mainly did t-ball, baseball, soccer, and softball. So those were the only sports I ever did growing up. And my sister did t-ball, baseball, softball, basketball, and volleyball. And we did aqua jets when Sullivan South did it, like when we were growing up. It was like a after school thing, to learn how to swim and stuff, and I enjoyed it. Like for me, I love to swim, so um, that's like one of like the exercise that I really love to do, and uh, and it also helps my back, to swim. It helps my back, um, and and since with COVID, our membership had ran its course, and so we didn't get to go to the gym as often as we should have. But my mom works in Kingsport, and she'd be really tired, and apparently NetTrans does not take people to the gym, apparently. And the YMCA at Bristol is in Bristol, Tennessee. So, I mean, it's not in Bristol, Virginia, but the house that I'm in right now is bought and paid for, and there's like no mortgage on it. And since Danny died, we don't have like anything holding us down here. And my mom said that she and Danny had talked about if he died that we'd have his family. And Mom was like, bullshit, his family cares more about his younger brother, who's a felon, who's got into bunches and bunches of trouble, who's a felon, as I said. And Danny, he joined the military, and Danny's like the black sheep of the family, and like no matter what good Danny had done, his family saw it as like a slap in the face, I guess. Like, that was like the most dishonorable thing that he did, was like go into the military or something. And that Mark, being a felon, has a good job in construction, and him being a felon is looked at as the golden child, which he's not. And that just makes me upset that his family has made Danny out to be the black sheep of the family when he's done good things like joining the army is a good thing if you want to join, you know. And from what Danny said, Mark was the total opposite of Danny, that he got in trouble a whole lot, and he's been to prison, you know, and all that stuff. He's been behind bars and whatnot. So my mom said that his family didn't care about us, you know, didn't care about me or my mom or Danny at all. Like, whenever we go to his family's parties, like, say, 4th of July barbecue or something, or Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever, they would hardly talk to us. They would pay us no mind, you know. They'd pretend like we're not there, you know, like we're just ghosts that has been there for decades, you know, like we're just pictures on a wall. Like, they pay us no mind at all. Like, it's like we're just dirt on their shoe, you know. Like, we're just dirt that they walk on, you know. And when we had the viewing of Danny at the Weaver's funeral home, Danny's dad, which was atrocious to me, that his father would be less concerned about his dead son, that he told everybody that about the 23rd of December he was having at his house a Christmas get together. And I'm just sitting there, you know, tears running down my face, and my mom was there, and my mom's high school friend was there, you know, my godmother. And I'm just sitting there, just dumbstruck and mortified that his own father would be more concerned about this Christmas party than his dead son that is laying on a slab of metal because he wanted to be cremated. So he was too bloated to be put in the casket. So they had him on this cremation metal table or something. And his father, his name's Otis. Otis would go around and telling people, "Oh, we're having a Christmas party on December 23rd, you know. Whichever day on December." And I don't know, he was just going around telling people, "Oh, you're invited to come to my house and have a Christmas party." And I was, as I said, mortified that he would even be concerned about a damn party. His son is dead, and he's concerned about a party for Christmas. And his oldest son, his firstborn son, was outrageously late to the viewing. I think he did that on purpose. His oldest son did it on purpose. Because his middle son and his third son were there. And, uh, but his oldest, his firstborn, was purposefully late. Like, to me, I think he made it a point to be late. Because they didn't have, from what I gathered, did not have the type of relationship a father would have with a son. So his father's behavior when we view Danny was very atrocious and unforgiving too, because the way they treated Danny was terrible. They treated him like he was absolute garbage. And Otis, Danny's dad, gave the responsibility to Mark, Danny's younger brother and wife, Trina, to tell everybody, oh, we're having a barbecue or whatever on 4th of July or Memorial Day or Labor Day or whatever. They would not tell us that they were having a barbecue until Otis would call Danny and say, oh, are y'all coming to the barbecue? And Danny would be like, no one told us that we were invited to go to the barbecue, that sort of thing. And like, no one told us that sort of thing. And no one had called us, said, your father is having a barbecue for Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, that sort of thing. And Danny was hurt, obviously. Mom was pissed off, and of course me, but I was hurt and pissed off too, and I'm sure Daddy was, for the most part. And so we decided not to go to Otis's party because Mom didn't want to risk giving everybody COVID. And for good reason, too. But his father's like 80-something years old, and his mother is 80-something years old, and she has osteoporosis, or like complications to smoking and stuff. Because she smoked. So, have a little light there, So, anyway, Louise lives by herself in a trailer park, and she lives off of her disability, SSI, and, her income is not the best, She lives by herself, and her, Otis lives in a big, fancy, schmancy house with his wife that he cheated on Louise, which is Daddy's mom. And, so, I'm just gonna put this right here. Anyway, the woman that Otis had an affair with, her name is Sharon. And, to me, she's a homewrecker, because Otis had an affair with her, had a sexual relations with Sharon. And Louise and Otis stayed together for their kids. Danny and Sharon. And I'm thinking, why the hell did they stay together when Otis had an affair on Sharon, or with Sharon on Louise? Lord knows. But back to my sister naming her second born son Kason. Now we had offered like Carter, and other boy names, or neutral unisex names, and if it was a girl, neutral unisex names, like Parker, Carter, with a K or whatever. But no, she ended up on Kayson. Cayson. And I'm going to walk away here, but I'm still going to talk. But anyway, she named him anyway, and she just... Well, I guess I can take my phone with me, but... Sorry, a little blackout there. But she just, I guess, just didn't care on what her family suggested. Because whatever we did, because we've always helped my sister, but she kind of like rebuffs us to the point of moving to Colburn with her new boyfriend, baby daddy. And as I said, Cody comes from a drug den. His family has done drugs most of his life, so yeah, his family, other than his grandparents on his mom's side, her name is Lynn, and her husband, I don't even know what I forgot what his name was. Terry. Lynn and Terry are people that did not do drugs, but they strongly enable the whole family. And which you shouldn't do when your family is addicted to drugs or alcohol or whatever substances that you're addicted to. But she enables them, so they can like do drugs, and do whatever the hell they want, and I need to take the trash out. That's what I need to do. Anyway, she has, I guess, one of her daughters or something, granddaughters or somebody, and she has adopted her great-granddaughter Danny, or Danielle, and Danielle, or Danny, she's called, was born a drug baby, and she was Danny, she was born addicted, and so she's staying with Lynn because Lynn has guardianship over this little girl, Danny. And I just feel so bad for these kids, They did not ask to be brought into this world by drug-addicted parents. They didn't ask for it. Danny, for sure, didn't ask to be brought into a world where she is drug addicted to the drugs that her mother's addicted to. So she's living with her grandmother Lynn, and um, I mean, I'm glad she's living with her grandmother and stuff, but Coburn is like drug central of the South, or one of the central points in the South, in the southern states of the U.S. to be like drug and alcohol central. You know, for me, I chose to not follow my father's alcoholic footsteps because my father was an alcoholic. So, but several kids in Cody's family has been born addicted to drugs and stuff, and what else, what have you. And Lynn has so much on her plate that she doesn't need any other children that she needs to take care of, because these kids aren't at all her responsibility, but she took that responsibility. And my nephews, they're always, my sister and the boy and her sons are on this mountain that my mom dubbed Mount Crumpet, because it's like they basically live on a mountain, like in the Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Ouch. But anyway, they live on Mount Crumpet in Coburn, Virginia, and they have 2 cars, but one of them does not work at all. And to be honest, I think that Cody, the baby daddy, had took it apart so my sister wouldn't go anywhere. You know, the basic isolate your partner because your boyfriend is paranoid. You know, and I think he is indeed paranoid with all the drugs that he's been taking his whole life. And that that he has the audacity to keep my sister and her boys away from her family. But my sister made the choice to not be a part of her family because, I don't know, my sister was sexually assaulted when she was younger. So she has blamed me for knowing what happened to her, which honestly I did not know at all. And I basically, or mainly, stayed like outside most of the time, or played outside most of the time, or just stayed by myself. And I didn't know, Mom didn't know, but she claims that we knew. Billy, got your ball? But neither of us knew what was going on. And none of us knew that she was sexually harmed when she was younger, because we were at Fall Branch when she told us, and I was shocked, to be honest with you. And my dad's dead, by the way. I mean, I am mad at him for doing it to her, you know, even though I don't show it right now, but I am and was mad at him for doing that type of stuff to her. I mean, to be honest, I'm conflicted, but I know I shouldn't be. But I mean, I still had a relationship with my dad, which sounds wrong. I mean, I don't know what you call it, but, well, I guess I'm just gonna stop right here, because I'm sure I'm gonna go to hell for saying that, but, that's just me.